A one of a kind article came out with On3 and KSR yesterday. It is truly incredible reporting, a very unique situation. Shout out to Jacob Polachek and Jack Pilgrim, two guys that we frequently commend for great work on this program. We are pretty much constantly reacting to great journalistic reports that these guys put out. And this is yet another case of it. I would say, Cart, truly, I've never read a report like this. And this took, I think, weeks of work and sourcing and I don't know, just some serious behind the scenes intel on what is going on at Kentucky on the recruiting trail. And I've never read anything like this, point blank. We know Mark Pope's program is in an interesting spot, but Jacob and Jack co-writing this with plenty of sources speaking anonymously on the record to what Mark Pope recruitments have been like has unearthed some very interesting things. For starters, there is a lack of clarity in NIL. And reminder, I am going to summarize just elements of this. Everyone better go subscribe to On3, KSR, support this, read the full thing. You are going to want the full details. But just in terms of what we're reacting to here, a lack of clarity in NIL. There has been a lot made of the fact that Kentucky's NIL process with their JMI partnership is different than at any other school. Kentucky insists that any NIL deal they're going to sign with a player is going to run through JMI. But there are complications with that where recruits and families and agents are pushing back and saying this is not an issue we have at any other school. We don't like this. No, like just flat out no. This is what is holding this up. At the same time, there's plenty more in this article, which is the interesting part of this to me. It's not all about NIL. They go through the Donovan Dent recruitment. They go through the Deion Thomas recruitment.
Mm.
Got quotes from people involved in both those recruitments saying, hey, ours had nothing to do with NIL. Donovan Dent just wanted to stay home. Thomas said he liked the Pope recruitment. It just that was our second option. Blah, blah, blah. All these things. This is a complicated situation that goes beyond just the complications with NIL. But the thing that is most interesting to me here is that Mark Pope's emotions have been put under the spotlight, under scrutiny in a way that point blank I have never really seen. And I'm going to read you an excerpt from this. Um, this is directly from Polachek and Pilgrim's report. What went wrong? In many cases, sources indicated that the new head coach's emotions would complicate the black and white of a simple negotiation. This is a direct quote from an anonymous source. Quote, in negotiations, you can't have emotions involved. We're all just doing a job here. Mark, I think he takes it so personal, which is good in a way, but not in negotiations. At the end of the day, I don't give a beep where my kid goes as long as the people do what they say they're going to do. We get him better and we do good business. But it was really hard to do good business because Mark Pope's emotions got in the way of everything. Quote, he'd say, this is Kentucky. We're not getting in a bidding war. And I'm like, okay, well, then that's your risk if you want to lose him. I don't think he knows how to play in that sandbox yet. I don't think he knows how to play in this game yet. Pope has never done this type of business before getting here. He didn't have to deal with superstars at BYU. End quote. Card, it's an incredibly damning view of Kentucky's head coach from two people that, for their primary work, cover this program. Piers, a lot of time went into this report, a lot of effort. And Mark Pope's too emotional to land a recruit.
Okay, got a couple things on this. I'm gonna start with the negatives, and I'm gonna get to an actual positive. And I don't know if you even saw that coming. The first First negative here. Um, you could sum this up. Can I make myself chat GPT real quick?
Hmm.
He's not fit to be the Kentucky basketball coach, is what that quote reads me. And honestly, even more damning, I think, is not only is he not fit to do it at Kentucky, he might not be fit to do it at a lot of high major places if he's not able to play in the new playing field, right? Because that's kind of what this is nowadays, and you need to get with it, or you do get somewhat passed up. Now, we kind of usually leave that narrative to the older guard of college basketball, not for Mark Pope. Um, Now the next one, they go hand in hand here. He is too emotional, and like, don't show love. Love will get you killed is a famous phrase. I think it is hurting him that he is too emotional about everything. And, you know, I don't even want to come from the spot because, men don't like to show their emotions. They always like to keep it in. So it'd be tough guy. Urgh. But to a certain extent, you do need to keep it together, man, when you're the head coach of Kentucky basketball. And you look like you're on the verge of tears after one loss, right? Like everything is crumbling around you. You're not getting recruits. Nothing's going your way. And the response is, oh, damn, no, woe is me. You can't be doing that. Like, it's not, you can't do it at Kentucky. You can't do it anywhere else either. You're the head coach of a high major basketball program. You can't act a certain way. You can't be emotionally invested in certain way. Now, my positive spin on this. There's coaches that recruit different ways. I feel like I can come from this spot personally, speaking for Michigan State. It's not necessarily emotional, but I do think that there is a certain level of recruit that would connect with Mark Pope. Like the maybe a player that's not as talented or as high up, or it could be a player that's high up and talented. But I think that Mark Pope, because of the way he coaches and the way he operates, he shrinks his player pool of the type of players that he can get. And right now, I think there's a crisis because those type of players he can get are not the type of players that are gonna, yield results or are good enough for Kentucky fans. It's the same thing with Michigan State. Like, Michigan State doesn't cast a wide net with players. At least we didn't before. Now we're ATMing. But before that, it was like a very small pool set that Izzo's like, I'm just gonna go all in on my old school approach with them, and if it works, it works. If it doesn't, then F them. I'm Michigan State. It's all good and well, but you better also win games. And also, people are going to be unhappy when you do that. And also, you're at Kentucky. Did I say that already?
You did.
He's at Kentucky. This quote is awful, man. This is really bad.
Which part of this, because this is obviously a very complex situation. To me, there's probably five different sides. I'm going to isolate the two most important problems that I hear from this overview of Kentucky's recruiting struggles. Problem number one, the NIL complexities, complications, JMI. The fact that they have to run any sort of paying players through these extra loopholes that nobody else does. That's problem one. Problem two, Mark Pope's emotions. Those are the two problems I hear. Everything else in this article is normal, right? The Donovan Dent example, Deon Thomas example. Good to hear there's some examples where you just lost recruitments. Those are normal. What's not normal is the NIL situation that's obviously unique. And then, dog, when have we ever heard, oh, the coach is too emotional. We don't want to go there. But, dog, that's also exactly what's happening at the podium every presser right now. He's too emotional. Card, how do we get a fight at Tay Kinney's apartment? Would probably think there needs to be some emotions involved.
Yeah.
Like, to me, there's two sides of this that are just what the fuck is that? It's
Hmm.
emotions and it's the JMI. Which one is more problematic to you?
Emotions.
100% emotions.
Emotions. 100% emotions. But we've been saying that, though. We have been saying that.
But I guess we thought it mattered only like on the court in post game. We didn't think it was going to transcend to like sitting in a recruit's living room.
Right. You can't do that, man. Like, most, like, I don't even know how to because like I'm trying to put myself in these recruits' dad shoes or recruits' parents' shoes. I'm sending my child to you.
Yeah.
And basically, for lack of a better term, I'm sending my child to you and you can't keep it together.
Yeah.
Be the adult here. Like yeah, I'm not saying don't show emotions, but like that's not gonna resonate with a lot of people.
Right.
Like
Right.
I'm sending my kid to you to make him a better man.
So I think maybe could we interpret it this way? Like obviously it's good that we're putting some story like on record. We're having some details here. And again, I credit the reporting on this so much for such a well-researched story and painting a real picture for fans of what is going on here. But if I could summarize this, maybe consolidate it and just interpret it in a way I'm interpreting this, let me be a parent of a recruit for a second. I just had a visit with Mark Pope. Mark Pope's recruiting my son. I leave. I talk to my son. That dude's a clown.
Yeah.
Like I don't think like I mean, we talk about put yourself in a player's shoes. What player wants to play for this guy right now? We've talked about how the players on his own team right now must feel listening to him sob at the podium every single week. But it's got to be the same thing with recruits, right? You have to have it's like speed dating. You have to have an attraction to the guy you're going to go play for. There's got
Hmm.
to be something that makes you like, "Oh, I want to play for that dude." Why the hell would anyone want to play for Mark Pope the person right now? And I know that sounds harsh, but like that's basically the bones of this article to me. And they laid it out as plainly as you possibly can. But you want a one sentence AI summary of this? What's the summary? Mark Pope is so weird and lame, no player wants to play for him because he's too emotional. What? Where has this ever affected a coach? Ever? And looking back on it, I'm sorry, but like looking back on it, this shouldn't be a surprise.
They tried to say this. They're like, I don't see and I think one of the person I talked to, it was like, I'll say it like this: Mark Pope doesn't have the aura of a Kentucky coach to walk into a gym and like just get recruits.
Right.
That's kind of what this is.
Right. And it almost feels like Mark Pope is coming into these recruitments feeling like he has like an attachment and like, oh, we're Kentucky, so we should get this kid. And then the kids clearly feel no relationship with him, end up trending elsewhere, and then Mark Pope won't like budge the NIL offer because he's like, well, you're supposed to commit. Like he almost feels a sense of entitlement and ownership to these kids when clearly it's not working. Like you're burning bridges with Tyron, you're burning bridges with Christian Collins, you're burning bridges with every recruit you've prioritized the entire time you've been the head coach here. So, I mean, dog shit. Even you think back to a year ago when there were positive stories coming out. Remember when a Caden Lewis committed?
Hmm.
Caden Lewis committed and said, "Yeah, Mark Pope came to my barber shop. He came into my community. He showed me more love from a relationship than any coach that was recruiting me. It was an easy decision." And then a Caden even said before we got to summer, "No, I'm out of here because Mark Pope burned the relationship by by the way he managed this roster." So he's misstepped everywhere, clearly, but this all just comes down to like the core of how he carries himself as a human being. And it's just kind of crazy to hear this being written. It's 100% true. They call out, like, oh, think about he didn't have stars at BYU. Yeah, can we talk about that for a second?
Hmm.
The moment Mark Pope left BYU, stars started going to BYU.
Yeah.
And we're surprised he can't get stars at Kentucky. Kevin Young's not surprised he couldn't get stars at BYU. Like, it's just, this is who he is. All these same problems probably apply to BYU, minus the JMI stuff. He can't recruit.
Right.
He cannot recruit.
Right. That's all it is. It's all it comes down to.
He's been at places that can recruit. They recruit without him, and he can't recruit. So,
It is Mark Pope himself who cannot recruit.
right. So let's pivot to the most maybe, I don't know. Okay, this article is what it is. Now, like, what do we do with it? This is the most compelling part of this to me. Have you ever seen reporters this close to a team put something this detailed and scathing out in the middle of a season about a seated head coach?
Not that I can remember.
It's very unique, right?
Yeah.
I mean, listen. We didn't cover Kentucky until 2 years ago. Maybe this happened during the Calipari era, and we didn't notice it.
Yeah. Did they do it? I feel like we know. I don't know. I don't know if they did it like during the season.
I mean, like, and again, I applaud this report. The work on this was unbelievably impressive. I love Polachek, and I don't think Pilgrim likes us very much, but I'm genuinely a big fan of his work. This is like they deserve like an award for the reporting on this. This had to be a hard thing to put together, but I'm also trying to like clearly like I would imagine like a month of work went into this. They
Hmm.
they put the article out together, attached both their names to it, kind of knowing the impact it's going to have, right?
Right.
Like I can't really recall, and maybe the situation is just so drastic. Like their intel, they have to do this, but like the ramifications of this very clearly are going to impact the likelihood Mark Pope continues his career here. I think
Yeah. The thing is, like, how do you really bounce back from this? Like, how do you change this narrative?
he'd have to win a championship,
He can't.
right?
That's even bigger question or even bigger conversation. Even if he does get the recruits, I'm coming from this spot right here. I don't know if a guy with this much emotional investment has what it takes to win a national championship.
Probably
And that
not,
changes for me because we talked about it in the summer. I'm like, yeah, I think Mark Pope could win a national championship. I don't.
right? Which
I
is
don't.
to say, I think if there's ever a point you feel a seeded Kentucky head coach can't win a national championship, they can't do the job anymore.
Right. And that's just facts.
But this feels to me like I'm interpreting this report almost as the jumping off point where the important people within Kentucky voices are basically officially campaigning for this to be over.
Right.
That's what this feels. And Mark Pope said at one point, remember when he took the job? He was like, "We have the best fans, we have the best media in the world, and when I don't get it done, I want the media to write about it."
They are.
He didn't envision this.
They are. They are. They are Bubba's.
He didn't envision this.